What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Vickless Falcon here, and today I've got some more Stars On propaganda for you, specifically the Stars On community tier lists that were submitted to myself and Little Cokes in the Mario Baseball Discord. And then they were compiled, and we had our first community tier list for the Stars On community. So um, I guess you may be asking, why is there more than one tier list? So in Stars On Play, you can play at all six of the different stadiums, and Peach Garden and Wario Palace were the two most played during the last Mario Baseball Netplay season. So we decided to just pick those two stadiums and have a few of the top players submit their tier list just based on those stadiums. So who submitted a tier list? Here are the 15 people that did. This was all A tier and B tier from last season. Baltimore kind of got the commissioner's exemption. He was at $14.99. I mean, it rounds up. I think it may have even been 15, closer to 1,500 anyway. So 15 felt like that was a good number, just because the Stars On player base is a little smaller. So yeah, these are the people that submitted. So basically what I'm going to do in this video is go through each character. I'm not going to show where people specifically like with their names, but I'm going to show where each person had the character in order. So you'll get to see, all 15 scores for each character at each stadium. And I'll just kind of go in reverse order from bottom to top. So here we go. All right, so the lowest character was Paragoomba. Can't say I've played Paragoomba in any ranked Stars On game. I put Paragoomba 31st in both of my tier lists. The green arrows show where I put the character. A little better rating at Peach Garden, but otherwise, yeah, I don't know if Paragoomba should be seeing the field. Decent defensive player. There's just so many other options that you can go with, so I won't spend too much time here. All right, so we'll go to Goomba. Was next. I have Goomba as the worst character in Stars On. I just don't find much use for Goomba. Ball Dash. I guess if I had to choose a Ball Dasher, I'd choose Monty just because of the longer bat. Pitching, I feel like there's just a ton of other pitchers that I'd pitch other than Goomba. Even the babies, I feel like the babies at least have wall jump, which brings some value, especially at small stadiums. Yeah, so I don't have Goomba ranked very high. There's a few that had Goomba a little higher, but overall Goomba, one of the bottom two characters. Next we have Baby Luigi. Yeah, I had Baby Luigi 30th on both of my lists. Baby Luigi actually got the worst score at Peach Garden, which is kind of funny. I think that's mainly due to the small hit boxes of the babies, especially in the outfield. If you're running after a ball full speed, there's a chance you might miss it. So definitely can understand why Baby Luigi ended up last at Peach Garden. A little better at Wario Palace, probably just because of wall jump is happening more often there, whereas at Peach, you're not wall jumping a ton. But yeah, not too much else for Baby Luigi. Baby Mario, kind of the same story. Similar rankings across the board. Yeah, 29th in average both, and I also had Baby Mario at 29th at both stadiums too. Maybe some people prefer Baby Mario's bat over Baby Luigi or vice versa. I just don't see much use when there's so many other characters you could pick from. And I just think the small hitboxes combined with drop spots off can make it really hard to catch the ball in the outfield sometimes. So yeah, that was the clear-cut bottom four characters. So next we got Monty Mole. I think Monty could be a ninth pick at Peach Garden, just due to the slap hit. I feel like you're slap hitting more at Peach Garden. You could play Monty at catcher, first base, and get away with it. But overall, yeah, it doesn't bring too much else to the table, ability-wise, chemistry-wise, etc. So as you can see, Monty did not score very well across the board either. So next we got Koopa Troopa, aka Greg and Ron, dubbed by Riley Scott. Koopa Troopa was pretty clearly, the next worst character, or next best character, I guess. I'm fairly high on Koopa Troopa. I think Green Koopa has a great slap hit. I think as a ninth pick to pair with Bowser is not bad at all. I think Red Koopa's star hit can be good at some stadiums, and Red Koopa, I think, is a decent pitcher, has one of the fastest fastballs in the game. Um, so if this is a character you like playing with and you are comfortable with the bat, I think, can see the field. And I had Koopa higher than most. Somebody had Koopa at 18th at Wario Palace, which I guess I can understand if you're making a last pick and you want to pick the star hit. It can go for a home run there. So definitely understand it from that point of view. But overall, Koopa Troopa, yeah, pretty locked in at the 27th spot on both tier lists. All right, so next we got Toad. Toad was a pretty divisive character. A couple people really like Toad, but quite a few people are pretty down on Toad. Somebody put Toad dead last at Peach Garden, which is kind of funny. I'm more down on Toad. It does have the Popfly star hit, which can be good at a small stadium like Wario Palace. In Stars On, I don't really like characters that have shorter bats. They require a higher skill level that, I don't think is necessary if you can get the right bats on your team and you can get, longer bats. So, yeah, somewhat down on Toad. But if Toad is a bat you're comfortable with, you can get some pretty good chem trains going, especially with like Peach and Toadsworth and Toadette. So, like three or four people here have Toad as a character they're picking, almost every game. So, definitely not out of the ordinary to see Toad in a Stars On match. All right, next we got Dry Bones. I think you can play either red or green. I would probably prefer green Dry Bones just for the star hit, the line drive star hit. But with Red Bones, you can also do the Pop Fly star hit as well. And Red Bones just has, I think, a little more power. They might be both at 100 power, actually. I'd have to double check that. But Red Bones can also throw a little faster on the mound, too. And then they both have Cursed Ball, which we don't know the total effect of that in Stars On, but some people want to keep trying to do it. So definitely don't blame them for that. Dry Bones was pretty consistent, only about 10 spots between the top Dry Bones tier and the bottom. So nothing really out of the ordinary to say about Dry Bones. Solid slap hit, maybe sails a little bit too much at times in Stars On. You kind of just have to plug in on defense. Maybe you're pitching Dry Bones on the Bowser team, and that's an option too. So another character where if you like the bat, you can play him. If not, there's probably better options. So next we got Dixie Kong. I think Dixie Kong is a character that will be trending up in Stars On. Has, a decent slap hit, has low trajectory, and I think something we've discovered, especially in the last Big Ball tournament, which if you don't know what Big Ball is, it's just Stars On, but without star swings, is that slap hitters with low trajectory are pretty decent just because the ball doesn't sail for them. It usually can land nicely in the outfield. So if you can handle the short bat, Dixie can be a great player for you or a great pitcher as well. There's a couple of top Stars On players that definitely prefer to pitch Dixie and do really well with her. So as you can see, like Peach Garden, Dixie does do a little better, because Dixie can play Clamor, Dixie can pitch. If you have DK on your team, give DK some chemistry. So kind of a bonus there. As you can see, like a couple people have Dixie pretty high at Peach Garden. So yeah, Dixie's a character I see trending up for sure. Next, we got Shy Guy. I think you can go with red or green. I suppose you could go with black as well because black has the Pop Fly Star Swing, but black Shy Guy and red Shy Guy are pretty similar. I think red Shy Guy has a little more power, so and a little better slap hit. I like green Shy Guy a lot. I like pitching green Shy Guy. Have had a couple of good games in Stars On and Big Ball with green Shy Guy. Kind of like my third hidden pitcher pick if like Boo and Waluigi get scooped up right away. So yeah, you're starting to see, some of these characters are ending up at, the last pick for people's teams here, and like at Wario Palace. I think Shy Guy is a great last pick if you have Birdo on your team. You can go Birdo into Petey into Shy Guy, and have some nice chem there. Like say, Petey gets out or something, or Birdo doesn't score. Shy Guy with chem I think is a great power bat. Peach Garden, I think, hurts Shy Guy's bat a little bit because the slap can kind of sail at times. Um, but yeah, if you're needing that extra pitcher, I think GSG is definitely one to try out. So next is Diddy Kong. Similar to Dixie, Diddy does a little better at Peach Garden. Yeah, I'm personally a little down on Diddy. I think I probably have Diddy a little too low based on when I filled this out. It was a few weeks ago. I think Diddy's a decent fill-in pitcher. I think the slap hit is a little better than people think. It's definitely better than his slap hit in Stars Off, that's for sure. Um, but yeah, Diddy similar to Dixie can play Clamor at Peach Garden, which is great on the center field wall. Maybe once every 2 games you can get an out that you wouldn't have got otherwise, but sometimes that matters. But yeah, otherwise I don't have too much about Diddy. Solid fielder as well if you're looking to have a super catch in the outfield or in the infield potentially. So I think Diddy's probably rated correctly. I could see Diddy maybe moving up slightly in the future though. All right, next we got Toadette. I think Toadette is definitely trending up in Stars On. I would say the most out of any character. Maybe there's one other character that we'll get to here in a bit that's trending up. Um, but I think what's made Toadette trending up so much in Stars On recently is the new batting discovery where Toadette bats quite a bit better righty. And so in Stars On, we've been seeing Toadette righty almost every time now because the speed getting to first base doesn't matter as much as it does in Stars Off. Like Toadette's, there's not going to be nearly as many plays where lefty Toadette beats out righty Toadette and it's like a single compared to an out. And the trade-off is just a way better bat. As long as you're not chasing outside pitches, like Toadette can land singles hits a lot, and you don't even have to push it. You can pull the ball or hit to center field as well. So, and the defense that Toadette provides, especially at Peach Garden, is I think unparalleled. And at Wario Palace as well, being able to get to the wall quickly and get to wall jumps is such a huge bonus. And you can bat Toadette ninth and lead off with Toadsworth. And then this next time around, if you get on with Toadette, you can give Toadsworth chemistry and be able to hit a home run. So yeah, I like Toadette a lot. I probably even had Toadette a little low on this when I filled it out. I would say I'm even higher on Toadette now. Especially at Peach Garden. I think Toadette's a must pick at Peach Garden. So definitely a bat I think people should get comfortable with and just, trying to not hit the outside ball, kind of wait for your pitch and she can get on base for you. All right, so now we got Daisy. I think Daisy is probably going to be trending down just a little bit this season due to just kind of some of the other things I've mentioned with low trajectory characters getting slap hits more. Daisy's solid, has sliding catch. Quick throw is way better in Stars On than it is in Stars Off. If you pair Daisy and Peach in the infield, you can get a lot of double plays. I'm kind of just averagely rated Daisy, have her 20th in both lists. Somebody had Daisy 10th. It's just super high. I guess at Wario Palace, you could, Luigi Fireball and then bring up Daisy with Chem. I think Daisy with Chem, can be a pretty good hitter. But yeah, Daisy's fine. Like if you need a last pick, kind of fill your roster, she can play almost anywhere in the field. Maybe not like I probably wouldn't play her in center field, but like she could play left field, she can play middle infield, she could play the corner, she could pitch in a pinch if you needed to. So yeah, just kind of depending on your team comp, Daisy can be a decent last pick. All right, so now we got Bowser Jr. Bowser Jr. was another pretty divisive character. Personally, I'm pretty down on Bowser Jr. He's holding the ball in his glove there. I don't know how he caught that because I just think he's super slow. I think, obviously, being the worst wall jumper in terms of speed, I think there's balls that he does not get to that the other 3 wall jumpers do get to. I think his bat gets jammed a lot. And as a player who I feel like I'm more of a pitching and defensive player, I would rather pitch to Bowser Jr. 10 times out of 10 than me attempting to hit with Bowser Jr. Now at Wario Palace, I'll say, if you can get some chemistry behind or in front of Bowser Jr., he can hit some home runs, but you've got to be pushing the ball or pulling the ball. If you hit to center field, it's going to be an out almost every time. So, there's a few people that are bullish on Bowser Jr. at Wario Palace and a couple at Peach Garden. So, Personally, I don't think I'd ever play Bowser Jr. at Peach Garden just because the ball is rarely going to be a homer and you need speed in the outfield. I mean, maybe you could put him at first base and just try to slap hit or go Captain Bowser Jr. or something, but I just don't see too many scenarios where I'm going to be picking Bowser Jr. even at Wario Palace. Okay, so now we got Peach. I think out of both lists, Peach was the most divisive character in terms of standard deviation. Just huge differences in the tier list. Some people really like Peach, some people really hate Peach. I was kind of in the middle. I kind of have Peach as like a last pick, pitcher or middle infielder or first base. I think Peach is probably going to be trending up the most of any character just because we've seen top players be really good with her. What they're doing is holding down on the stick and pushing the ball, and they're hitting home runs and gappers like crazy. Just because they have the plate discipline to not go for those outside balls, and I think a lot of us other players are still kind of catching up to that skill level. But now that we've seen it more in ranked games and tournaments and stuff, and big ball, we saw it a lot. I think more people will be more open to using Peach. But kind of on the same token as Bowser Jr., like I feel comfortable pitching to Peach compared to hitting with her, and maybe that's just something I need to get better with. I do like her pitching. I feel like I just prefer a couple other pitchers, when it comes down to like that last pick pitcher, like with Shy Guy, just like the little longer bat. But depending on the team comp, again, you can build out like a really nice hero team with Peach, Mario, Luigi, Daisy, Toadsworth, Toadette, etc., and get like double or triple Kim for Peach, and she can hit a perfect easily. So, like I was saying before, I think Peach is probably trending up the most of any character, and it's kind of reflected here. Like some people have completely bought in, and some others, are still waiting. I'm kind of still in the waiting zone. I need to see more people than the top 3 players do well with Peach before I'll fully jump on. But I do have Peach on my National Netplay League team coming up this season, and I'm excited to get to practice a little more. All right, so now we've got Noki. I think you could play all 3 Nokis if you want to. I probably prefer green Noki just due to the star hit, especially at Peach Garden. The star hit's really good. You can hit it, the corners and get a double, potentially driving a bunch of runs. Red Noki, I think, is probably more playable at Wario Palace. You do have a pop fly star. It can go for a home run sometimes. And then blue Noki, Integrosity, Peach Beach and Brua, they like to stream their games, and blue Noki plays in a lot of those games, plays a great center field. So if you don't get Yoshi or Toadette and you want to play blue Noki in center field, I think that's fine too. And you can slap hit and pair that into chemistry with Pianta. Noki's slightly better at Peach Garden. What you've kind of been seeing here is more defensive players are a little better at Peach, and offensive players seem to rank a little higher at Wario Stadium. I would say I'm fairly high on Noki. I think there's times where I've picked Noki like top 10, top 11 at Peach Garden for sure, just depending on how the draft's going. Just because that line drive star hit is so good. And you can pitch green Noki in a pinch. You can put Noki in front of Pianta as well. If you're out of stars with Pianta, because Pianta's star hit's pretty good. Giving Pianta that chemistry is huge as well. So, Noki definitely a solid character in Stars On. All right, so next we got Koopa Paratroopa. I think just green Paratrooper for now. I think you have to pick green over red just due to the star hit. Red doesn't really offer much more. I think red has a little better slap hit, but the star hit is just so good, especially if you have Bowser on your team. You can go Paratroopa into Bowser and give Bowser chemistry right away. Another character that graded much better at Peach Garden. Big arm too, a great left fielder or center fielder. I guess you could play Paratroopa in right field if you're not worried about home runs, but does have a little smaller hit box, so there's a chance you may drop a couple balls that you didn't think you were going to. The chemistry with Bowser and the star hit, make Para, I would say, almost an every game character for me. And there's times where I don't pick Paratroopa, or I don't pick Bowser, but I'll still pick Paratroopa just because of the utility that Paratroopa brings, whether you play them in the outfield or you could play the corners or pitch even if you want to as well. All right, so next we got Wario. Wario is another pretty divisive character. As you can see, anywhere from 9th to 25th at Peach Garden. I'm a little down on Wario. I think unless you have chemistry on with the mid trajectory, uh, seems like Wario hits low line drives or flies out quite a bit. Obviously at Wario Palace going to be a little better because you can get some home runs there. Um, Garlic Ball at Peach Garden is not bad if you have Birdo and or Yoshi. As long as the other team doesn't have Yoshi, you can go for it and you can clear the bases with it. But the defense is still really good, even though middle infield maybe doesn't see as many balls as the outfield in Stars On, or especially compared to Stars Off. But Wario can make some insane plays. Has Chem with Boo and Waluigi, who are getting picked a lot as well. So really can help your defense. Wario's a solid middle pick. For me, I'm probably a little down on Wario compared to the rest of the field here. So next is Waluigi. I was kind of surprised that Waluigi ended up above Wario in Stars On. I think the Walu Tech homer is why. So the Walu Tech is when if you have 1 or 0 stars with Waluigi, you can hold down R and it will basically increase his charge power, which currently is 1. I think it'll increase it to like 25 or something. So it makes him a much more bigger threat at the plate. Otherwise, he still has a really good slap. You just have to make sure you pull it. What separates Walu and Stars On compared to Stars Off is his pitching. The variation in his charge pitching is just such a game changer because the speeds are just so much different than in Stars Off. You can throw one of the fastest pitches in the game with Waluigi or one of the slowest, and that's a great mix-up, especially if people begin to pick up on your timing. So I think Waluigi's a really great pick at Peach Garden. Great corner infielder, great pitcher. He can play left field. He has laser, which is actually better in Stars On because just the throw is a little faster, compared to his laser in Stars Off is not really that great. But in Stars On, it comes into play a lot more. So, yeah, I'm definitely high on Waluigi, a character that's kind of been trending up this season for sure. And I think more and more people are getting comfortable with him at the plate and on the mound. All right, so next we got Pianta. I think at Wario Palace, you need to be playing Red Pianta for the Pop Fly Star hit, which if you pull it, and get good contact, it's going to be a home run about every time. But at Peach Garden, if you want to play Blue Pianta or Yellow Pianta, I think that's totally valid. Blue Pianta has a little more speed, so maybe if you hit a gapper, you can get a double. And Yellow Pianta can pitch a little better than the other two. And Yellow Pianta's pitching is pretty decent because in Stars On, in Stars Off, you can't curve charge pitches with certain characters, but in Stars On, you can curve charge pitches with every character. And that makes Yellow Pianta a pretty decent pitcher in that regard. So I'm probably lower than most on Pianta. Again, it's similar to Peach. I think we've begun to see some top players really do well with Pianta to the point where he's like a top 5 character. And I don't know if I'm there yet. I feel like I've still been able to take a star or two off of Pianta when he's going for the home run. You just have to really be careful when pitching. And if you're playing, player that's on, I played Flatbread in the Dinger City tournament last night. I think he hit a star hit home run off me at DK Jungle. Just kind of depends on the stadium, depends on if anyone's on base. You just have to be aware, and if they have a star, after the first pitch, if you throw outside, you'll be able to know if they're thinking of using it or not based on if they charge. I know you can kind of star hit without charging. I just haven't seen a lot of that in Stars On yet. But yeah, Pianta is a character that I think more and more people are going to begin to try and get better with that star hit. And I think that will end up with Pianta rising in the tier list. Okay, so now we got Luigi, the 17 tool player himself. Pretty solidly 12th in both tier lists. I have him at 11th in both of mine. A couple people pretty bullish on on Luigi there. Baltor's probably one of them. I don't know who the other one is. I don't want to dox anyone on these, but I'm sure some of these preferences you could figure out on your own. Um, but yeah, Luigi really solid in the outfield, really solid at the plate, great power in Stars On. One of the bigger, contact zones, great singles hit, great charge hit. If you get chemistry on for Luigi, he can hit a perfect a lot easier than most characters. Last night in the Dinger City tournament, we saw Luigi hit a home run at Peach Garden. So yeah, I think Luigi is just really solid. Definitely one of the first characters I go for after you kind of get out of the top core of characters. Like I definitely prefer Luigi over Mario, Waluigi, Wario. I would pick Luigi first every time over those four. Um, Not sure if he's trending up or down. I think he makes sense right where he is. And hopefully more people will get comfortable with his charge hitting. I think Luigi's Fireball is a little worse in Stars On compared to Stars Off because the arms are stronger, so you might be able to wait on it and be able to throw him out. If it's not with good contact, he's going to get out almost every time compared to sometimes in Stars Off. I feel like you can get on regardless. So, but otherwise, yeah, he's a great character. Excited to see people rate him fairly high. All right, so next we got Mario. Mario and Luigi actually tied at Wario Palace, tied for 12th. I'm probably a little down on Mario just due to the shorter bat. Again, kind of like I was saying before, I think shorter bats obviously are harder, and in Stars On, strikeouts are way more important because there's just less outs in the game because you're only playing 5 innings. So, not that I wouldn't pick Mario though. Like Mario's probably still an every game character for me. I'm just not going to over pick him where I think he's valued at. Mario Fireball, Mario Captain is a good option, especially where Bowser does not have to be captain in Stars On. So you do see Mario Captain quite a bit more. Great outfielder at Peach Garden. Great speed, easy, probably the easiest wall jump, in terms of like visualizing it. Like Luigi's, he jumps really high, but it's kind of bait. Whereas like Mario is kind of, you get what you get with the wall jump. Like you know what's going to happen with it. So that's probably where Mario beats out Luigi in that regard. So that probably makes him a little better play at Wario Palace. Maybe not over Luigi, but just in general. Great power too in Stars On. If you can get good contact, great chemistry tree with a lot of different characters, so you can get some chemistry too if you want as well. So I think he's probably rated about right. All right, so next we got Toadsworth, another character that some people are really high on, some aren't as high on. For whatever reason, Toadsworth is a really good pitcher in Stars On. We don't really know yet. We think it might be due to the curve manipulation stat increasing in Stars On, and therefore it's made Toadsworth pitches. It makes them able to curve a lot more, throw double wiggle pitches, things like that. So his singles bat, I think, is worse in Stars On than it is in Stars Off, but he trades it in for a great star hit, and he can also charge and hit home runs due to his larger perfect contact zone. And you can also put chemistry in front of him, whether it be Peach or Toad or Toadette. You can include him in a chem train for one of those characters, and it makes him super valuable. Super catch is great too. Super catch super underrated in Stars On, I think, because I think it's great for not missing balls in the outfield. It just kind of gives you a sense of security. I like to play Toadsworth in left field at Peach Garden. I think he's great there just because I don't feel nervous when balls get hit out there because I know if I'm even close to the ball, he's not gonna bobble it or anything. I think Toadsworth's solid. I got him 10th on both of my lists. A few people have him higher, a few people have him lower. I'll be interested to see where he goes because I think some people don't try to hit home runs with him at all, and some people only try to hit home runs with him. So it kind of depends on if more players start playing Stars On, what they decide to do with Toadsworth. But otherwise, I think definitely a top 10 character. All right, so next we got Petey Piranha. With Petey, definitely not as good as he is in Stars Off. In Stars Off, he's like the second best character right now. and that's mainly due to his power, his chem tree, the ability to play catcher or first base. In Stars On, catcher doesn't matter as much. I mean, if you have a weak catcher, you can get caught sleeping sometimes, but um, I like playing Petey Piranha at first base in Stars On. I think why you see him being so low here compared to Stars Off is just he has to pull the ball, and pitching is so much faster in Stars On that it is a little tougher to get that nice pull hit with him. And so, as you can see, like Peach Garden, he's 10th, which is crazy to think about. But the right field at Peach Garden is so deep, one of the deepest in the game. Plus, there's walls that you have to have almost a perfect hit or have chemistry or hit a no block for him to hit a home run. Or you have to be skilled enough to be consistently hitting off the center field wall, which is pretty hard. So still a decent character. Character you're probably going to draft every game. But yeah, especially at Peach Garden, like I'm probably taking some line drive star hitters over PD. Unless I have Birdo, then maybe I pick PD a little bit earlier. But PD with no chemistry, I think definitely struggles at Peach. Now Wario Palace, still a solid top 10 character for sure. Somebody you want to pick up before you kind of get to that next tier of characters. So, but yeah, especially compared to Stars Off, PD, from what we've seen in the tier list, PD probably takes one of the bigger hits for sure. Okay, so next we got Magikoopa. I don't know. I think you can play all four. I prefer Red Magic Wario Palace and Blue Magic Peach Garden. If you want a little more pitching utility, you can pick green or yellow. Yellow's charge power is only 80 in Stars On, so that's just something to think about if you're going to go with yellow. But if you want to stick with some pitching plus keep some power, green Magikoopa has 90 power instead of 80, so that could be an option. Magic Star Hit is really good. Magic Slap Hit is good. Something we've seen a lot in the last Big Ball tournament was people batting Boo in front of Madge and then Ken Madge going for home runs with holding down on the stick. In which I don't think I said before, but if you hold down on the analog stick, it will change the percentage of low trajectory and move it up into the highest percentage. So you're like basically you're just increasing your chances of hitting a higher trajectory ball, which with a low trajectory character is crucial. So we're seeing Madge being used more as a power hitter, and that's definitely increased Madge's status. A few people have Madge in the top 5 at Peach Garden. At Wario Palace, pretty consistent. It looks like a couple people maybe just don't feel great with the bat. But yeah, I think Madge is a great character. Definitely top 7 for me. Never making it past that 6-7 on the snake back. Since Stars On is just a normal 1-2-2 draft. Yeah, not too much else to say about Madge. Just same characteristic as Stars Off. Great defense. A great person to have in your lineup. So next is Birdo. Birdo is similar to where she's at in Stars Off. Does carry a little more power. The bat is still the same size though, still a shorter bat, so you might miss some outside swings. I think going with the Birdo egg at Peach Garden is the way to go if you can get that option, in the 4 or 5 spot or the 6-7 spot. Having Birdo with, DK or Yoshi or Boo to pair with at Peach Garden is a really good combo. You just get a lot of defense plus some great extra base slap hitting and star hitting. At Wario Palace, you can bat Yoshi egg in front of Birdo and get some Birdo chem going. Be able to hit home runs that way as well. So yeah, I think Birdo is still pretty good at Wario Palace. Looks like a few people have her 10th or below. And maybe they're just taking more heavy characters. So I think the defense is still elite. Again, you may not be getting as many balls as you do in Stars On because a few more balls are going to the outfield, but she can still make plays that a lot of other characters can't. So Birdo definitely a top 5, top 6 character for me. All right, so next we got Bro. I think at Peach Garden you should definitely be using Boomerang Bro. You don't have to worry about pulling the ball. You can hit it to all fields. You have mid trajectory, so you're hopefully going to be able to clear the infield. I think Hammer Bro you could still use at Wario Palace just because if you're able to get that pull hit, it'll probably be a home run just due to the high trajectory. Um, but yeah, Bro is just a really solid character. I think a common draft line at Wario Palace is if your opponent goes Bowser, you just go KB and Boomerang Bro, King Boo, it's KB. Just because they can curve the ball around the foul poles and they don't have to hit it that far at all, and that's such an advantage. Opens up your hitting window a little bit. In the field doesn't do a lot, but again, you can just kind of stick Bro at catcher or left field depending on the stadium, maybe like first base, second base even. But yeah, Bro similar to Stars Off, great power, definitely a character you want to have. Maybe at Peach Garden you don't reach for Bro as fast, but I think of all the power hitters, I think Bro after King Boo, Bro is the one I would want at Peach Garden. So next is Boo. I really like Boo at both stadiums. I think Boo is the best, if not top two, if not top one pitcher in Stars On. Great chemistry tree as well. You can bat KB in front of Boo. You could bat Boo in front of KB. You could bat Boo in front of Madge in front of Boo, etc. One of the chem trees I've been doing recently is Waluigi ninth into Madge first, into Boo second. And then, you can give Boo chem for Wario as well. So it's a really versatile player in Stars On. I would say kind of underrated in Stars On. I think Boo's up in Stars Off. Boo's a little overrated right now, actually. But yeah, Stars On, great player. Peach Garden, I'll pick Boo sometimes in the 2-3 spot with Yoshi just to get like the best pitcher and the best defender. And I think they're both, decent hitters. Boo's a really great hitter in Stars On if you can get the slap to curve down the line. What makes Boo so much better in Stars On too is you can hit home runs. Boo I think has 80 power in Stars On, which would be similar to Boomerang Bro in Stars Off. So at a place like Wario Palace, Boo can hit home runs with the right contact. Probably not as much at Peach Garden, but at Peach Garden you're probably just going to be slapping with Boo anyway. So, or if you have a pitcher that you want to throw other than Boo, you can always stick Boo at first base and have Wario shortstop and get that great chem pairing as well. So Boo is a character I really like in Stars On. All right, so next we got Bowser. Bowser was tied for first at Wario Palace with King Boo. But at Peach Garden, Bowser kind of suffers, and we kind of witnessed that in the Peach Garden tournament. Bowser just does not hit home runs, especially without chemistry. So kind of what you have to do is, put Paratroopa in front of Bowser, maybe even put Boomerang Bro in front of Bowser. We've seen a few people do that to try and help Bowser hit a little better at Peach Garden. But a lot of times he will just fly out to deep right field, even with good contact. And so as a result, we've seen him drop. Like, he only got 2 number 1 votes at Peach Garden. A lot of 8s there. That's where I had him. At Wario Palace, still as good as ever. He got 7 first place votes, no lower than 5th. Still has to pull the ball. So if you struggle with pulling it, that may be why some people have him at 3 and 5 there with the faster pitching. People do pitch to Bowser more in Stars On, which is fun. But yeah, still a solid character. Good in the infield. What I like to do is put him at center field at Peach Garden, and then he can laser home, usually to a chem character. Lasers in the outfield are something you'll see in Stars On a lot more compared to Stars Off. So, and he's not as slow in Stars Off, or he's not as slow in Stars On compared to Stars Off. So he can cover a little bit more ground in the outfield as well. So if you want to do that, that's a decent way to use laser as well, especially if you have like the princesses in the infield and you don't want to throw to them and get an anti-chem potentially. So Bowser's still a good player, but at Peach Garden, he's kind of dropped off a bit. One thing we've kind of discovered, I think Remke kind of started doing it, was slapping with Bowser at Peach Garden, because the slap is very similar to DK's slap, just due to if Bowser pushes the ball, it's like a negative bonus, so it doesn't go as far, but it still goes over the infield. So slapping with Bowser at Peach Garden is definitely something that people should be doing more. All right, so we're getting close to the end here. We got Yoshi. Yoshi was the number 1 character at Peach Garden. As you can see, they're no lower than 4th. Probably the most consistently graded character out of Stadium was Yoshi at Peach Garden. Wario Palace, I think he's kind of trending down at Wario Palace. I think people are realizing they can hit home runs with a lot more characters, and so it doesn't really matter with Yoshi if he's not fielding the ball because it's out of the stadium. But he still has the egg ball, gets picked as captain quite a bit, makes his hitting a little bit better. Still covers a ton of ground in center field or shortstop or second base. So, it's hard to gauge, after you have to kind of wait a game to see where your opponent gauges Yoshi's value. I like when people value Yoshi a little too high because I think that helps me get more of a team that I want. I think I think someone like Toadette can cover a lot of ground that Yoshi can cover as well. Um, yeah, he may make some exclusive plays in the outfield, but he may go 2 or 3 games without making a play. Similar to Stars Off, unless you're moving him around. So maybe we'll see people try to move him around a little more in the future. Um, but again, still a really good character. The top player at Peach Garden, according to everyone that submitted a list. So now we have Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong got a lot of first place votes at Peach Garden as well. The bottom 4 votes there, so probably kept him from being first. Wario Palace, also a strong character. A great first pick just because you can pitch with him. You can put him in the middle infield. At Peach Garden, at times I will put him at center field because he has Clamor plus Laser. So it just provides a lot of utility. Can kind of plug and play anywhere. At Peach Garden, you could use his Star Swing as well. At Wario Palace, you should probably be going for the home run with him. His slap hit is still really good. It has the negative multiplier if you push the ball instead of pulling it. So at Wario Palace, you can slap the ball into the tornado on the side of the field, or at Peach Garden, you can just slap to get on base. So a really, really well-rounded character. Definitely a character you don't want to let fall past like fourth or fifth, or your opponent's probably going to be getting an advantage. And he can also provide a lot of chemistry too. So I guess mainly to Petey. So kind of the same thing with Birdo and Petey. DK, having DK in front of Petey is like a must for if you're going to be able to succeed with Petey and Stars On. So, but yeah, DK all around great character. And KB ended up being the number one in between both lists. Tied for first at Wario Palace, got third at Peach Garden. KB, what makes KB so good is the star hit, the pop fly star hit, just because it's got curved trajectory. As long as you make good contact and you're not early or late, it's going to be an out of the park home run, no problem every time. That's also great too because it keeps him from double playing. I think Bowser is a character that can double play a lot or hit a single to right field, low trajectory. So basically, having the option to have automatic high trajectory is such a bonus for KB. Plus, with like the curved bonus that we still don't know a ton about, but it seems to really send the ball farther. It just makes KB a really good player. Definitely the most scared I am pitching to a character is pitching to King Boo. There's just nowhere to go. If it's a good KB player, you may just have to concede and walk them, which is something we may start to see more in Stars On, especially recording this day after the Dinger City Stars On tournament. Just some super high scoring games. Maybe some more opportunities to walk will present itself and try to make characters, lower tier characters, have to make plays. I don't know if I'm there yet though. I like pitching to all the characters. Unless maybe there was like 2 outs and nobody on, then maybe I'm walking KB. But I guess even in that scenario, that's only 1 run. So, but regardless, KB is a great character. I think KB is the best character at Wario Palace. Peach Garden, I don't have KB as high just because even with the star, the ball doesn't get out sometimes. KB can also pitch if you want to in a pinch as well. So. Yeah, and KB ended up being, the number one character overall when I averaged all of the lists together. So, I think we'll see more and more people trying to get comfortable with that star hit. Or I think a lot of people just kind of hate pick KB because they don't want their opponent taking them as well. So here was the Wario Palace list. just put up on the screen so you can look at it. It's also pinned in the Discord. Um, yeah, the tiers were kind of just broken out. Like I think it was 1.4, 1.5. If there was that much difference between a character, then I tried to start a new tier. So that was the Wario Palace list, and then here was the Peach Garden list. Moving forward, I don't know if we'll try to do this for every stadium or not. I think DK Jungle and Wario Palace are pretty similar. So I don't know if it'd be necessary to do a DK Jungle one. Maybe there's a couple characters that specifically benefit there more than at Wario Palace, just due to no tornadoes on the side of the field. Um, and then like Bowser Stadium, we kind of learned with the last tournament that we did there that not a lot of home runs get hit there, but it's like the highest scoring field and way more offensive stadium. So, maybe more offensive characters would be higher on a list. And then I think Yoshi Park and Mario Stadium are pretty similar as well. So maybe we do one for those two, but we'll just have to see where people are playing in the next season. And then I just kind of want to end the video with some trends and predictions that I've been seeing. Excuse me. So more players using characters that require higher skill. I think Pianta, Peach, and Toadette are three of those characters. There might be some others. But those three specifically, we are seeing top players use them with a lot of success, and they just require more skill because you have to be a little more patient at the plate and wait for your pitch. And the bats, Pianta's bat's longer, but you have to pull. But Peach and Toadette's are much shorter, and so you can't be chasing outside like you can with other characters. So I think we'll see people try to use those characters more and, see how they do with them. I think another thing, like I said, with the big ball tournament that we had, is low trajectory characters, using them more, slap hitting with them more, trying to save star hits for, the line drivers or the pop flyers, or other, like the captains. So like maybe you're just slapping with Paratroopa or slapping with Noki, or you're picking Toadette over, another pop flyer line drive character because you can get a hit with them. And then I think also with the charge hitters, we're, Magikoopa, Peach, Pianta, I think holding down and charging is something we're seeing a lot more of. And it's definitely boosted Magikoopa. I think people kind of just, when we first started playing Stars On, when I first did anyway, I just kind of treated Magikoopa like Stars Off Magikoopa and was just slapping and starring. But I feel like now I'm trying to put Madge with chemistry on base and trying to hit a home run. Just because a push home run is easier to hit, I think, than a pull home run, just because you have more time to try and hit it. So I think that's something we'll see more of. These are also just, things I've seen, things I think we might see. So more creativity on the mound. I think with how many runs are getting scored recently, and, top players are scoring a lot of runs, I think, whether it's more charge pitching or more star pitches. Last night in a couple of my games, I gave up 6 in the first inning and 4 in the first inning, and I had 2 outs in both of those games, and I'd only given up like a run or two. And I think, if I would have maybe brought a star pitch in, I maybe wouldn't have given up a home run, maybe get a line drive out or something, or I get a strikeout. So figuring out who to star pitch with, whether that's a captain or, like Toadsworth throws a really slow changeup, or a couple have really fast pitches. Also using other pitches outside of the top 4, I think people are starting to get comfortable facing these top 4 pitchers. And so that means that, people are now trying other pitchers to try and throw people's timing, or, maybe they haven't seen this pitcher. So I just listed a few out there that I think we might see a little more often. And then the last thing I think is more counter picking. I think, especially at the top level, you just can't let good players have the characters that they're good with. And I don't think it's a reach for you to pick someone first or in the 2-3 spot that doesn't belong there, just because the characters aren't as unbalanced. You can make up for it later in the draft. So like if you don't want to play against somebody's Toadsworth, just pick Toadsworth first or second or third. Or if you don't want to play somebody's Boo, just first pick Boo. And you can, you'll still get good players later on. You can pass on the players you don't want later on. Just to try and make them uncomfortable, make them try to adjust or throw someone else. Like And I think that's like finding a third pitcher, I think is huge. Like for me, I found GSG so that like people started picking Boo and Waluigi against me, and I was able to just throw in GSG, and it's usually a character they've never seen before. Um, and so I think that's definitely something that if you're facing a player in game one and they just blast you with someone, just like pick that person first, or second pick if you know they're not going to pick him first, and then you get an extra character at the beginning. So um, yeah, I think that's all I got for now. It was a really fun season. Um, just like getting second in the Peach Garden tourney was a lot of fun. Playing Big Ball was a lot of fun. So I've really enjoyed Stars On recently. Yeah, excited for more people to start playing as well. So yeah, if you have any questions or you want to dispute, any of the rankings that were in there and you thought they were ridiculous, I gave all 15 players a say and they sent me their list. And I would say, like, some players had people really high, some had them really low. Like, it wasn't just one person that was the outlier every time. Like, everybody had their own opinions, and I think that's great. And I think averaging them all together, made a pretty good consensus of where each of these characters are at the moment, and hopefully this will give if you've never played Stars On, give you some ideas of which characters you should be picking and where you can potentially get them in the draft as well. So yeah, that's all I got for now. Thanks.